What's up, Ram fans? I'm Jayson Ortiz here at Moby Arena, joined by Bryan Buck, and we just witnessed CSU beat Sam Houston State 71-65. Tell us a little bit how that game went, Bryan.
Yeah, well, it started off a little rocky for CSU. Kind of the same trend we've seen the past couple games from them. Weren't playing great defense. Turned the ball over a bit. Sam Houston had 16 points off turnovers in the first half, and they were behind. They looked a little lackadaisic. Wasn't a ton of energy on the defensive or offensive side of the ball. But they came into halftime down 36-33, and then they really started to get out there. Their defense helped them a lot. Sam Houston didn't get to 30% shooting in the second half. They scored a lot of points. They weren't crazy efficient, but they outdid Sam Houston in the second half, and their defense was what really helped them, and that's one of the things they've been needing the last couple weeks. So it was a good sign for the Rams that they were able to bring that.
Yeah, and I think player of the game more than likely has to go to Nico Carvacho.
Definitely.
He played like he wanted this win more than any win he's wanted. And it seemed like he got pushed around a lot in the Arkansas game. There was nobody on the Sam Houston team that could match up with him. And 20 points, 19 rebounds. And I think Nico fed off a little bit in the second half of what the crowd was doing after they all got pumped up after JD came down and hit a big three.
Yeah, they did really get going in the second half. That crowd that really hasn't been here as much as you might have expected them. They were here a little bit in the Arkansas game, but Arkansas outplayed CSU that night. This was one of the bigger days that the crowd has had in Moby. Coach Dave Thorson was really getting them hyped up. People love Dave Thorson. He gets pretty loud over there on the bench. You can hear him just about anywhere in the stadium, but that amplitude really got them going. JD hit a couple big shots. AB had a couple layups as well in transition that helped a lot, and Carvacho was feeding off it too. He was playing with a ton of intensity, and in the second half he had all kinds of those tip-in rebounds where, you know, it's bouncing up around the rim. He goes in, tips it back in, gets the points, gets the rebound, padding the stats a little bit, kind of like Charles Barkley. But it was one of those second halves where they were just fighting down low. They were fighting to make it work. They were fighting to get the W, and the fight resulted in a W for them.
Yeah, and Coach Medved talked about how Chris Martin obviously didn't have a good night shooting, so it just wasn't his night. He didn't play very much. But it seemed like that Sam Houston defense kind of just frustrated a lot of the shooters. They were leading Clemson when they were playing Clemson. They took Georgia down to the wire. That defense is probably going to be really good, and they're still trying to find their stride right now.
They are. They're young. They lost a lot of guys from last year, but they played a really tough defense. They fouled a lot on drives, and you can see it was frustrating, guys. Kendall Moore wasn't able to do quite what he wanted. He was just getting outworked in the first half. There were guys being more physical than he was, and that's tough for Moore because he's not necessarily the biggest guy on the court, but he had to work through that. J.D. Page got fouled a ton in the second half driving, and he kind of had looks of frustration on his face every once in a while. He did work through it, though. Ended up hitting 5 of his 6 free throws in the last minute and 12 seconds, which was big for the Rams in terms of closing the game late. But they figured out how to work through that tight defense, a defense that fouls a lot. That's a really good sign for this Rams team going forward, progressing, getting to be the team it's going to need to be successful in conference play.
Yeah, and I think Hiron Edwards comes back next game. They're hoping he comes back next game. And I think that'll help out Kendall Moore, J.D. Page, Anthony Massenton-Bonner. Just adds to the depth, and those guys don't have to play the 28 minutes, 30 minutes. They're going to have those breaks, and I think that's going to help this team going down the road.
Definitely. And one of the things that Medved and the whole team has been talking about is defensive energy. When you add more guys, it only helps you bring defensive energy, different ways that guys are playing, different ways that guys are talking. It just churns it up a little bit, gets maybe a catalyst moving in there, and really could put this team moving forward in the right direction, because it's not a huge change. It's just one more guard, a guy with experience, a guy who really looks pretty focused whenever you see him practice, play. I know I've seen him after games or before games here in the gym working by himself at random times. I came in, did an interview with Coach Medved a couple weeks ago. It was like a Tuesday at like noon, and he was in here shooting by himself. So adding that guy to this team, like you said, hopefully come Sunday, if you're the Rams, that'll be a big plus for them.
Yeah, and this Sunday, South Dakota, they're going to have to step up. They're going to have to, play with the intensity that they played with tonight. And they got to come up with another W before they go into conference play.
Yeah.
They have 3 more games before conference play, and then head out to Las Vegas and take on UNLV to open up conference.
It's going to be a big game for them. They turned the boat in the right direction. This was the first game where they trailed for a majority of the basketball game and were able to right the ship late, figure it out, and come back with a win. That's a great sign moving forward for them. And I think South Dakota's like that next step forward, like a baby learning how to walk. They got the first couple steps down. Now they got to really start walking forward instead of keep falling over. So we'll see if they can do that on Sunday against South Dakota. It'll be a big test for them. Like I said, 3 more games left in non-conference play before conference play. They need to figure out how to walk. But that's all we have for you guys this afternoon. I'm Bryan Buck signing off for Jayson Ortiz. Again, the Rams improved to 5-5 on a 71-65 win over Sam Houston State. Have a good afternoon, everybody.